Thank you.
Yeah. Did you get the message you leave? I was saying Mike only bring 2 of those 3. I'll try to let you know as soon as I can.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I'll probably find out while this first one's going on. So.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
Once again, our satellite coordinates are AMC 15, transponder K12B, downlink frequency 11935.50, horizontal, data rate 11.914. Would ask you kindly no video photography, no flash photography in this area. Silence your cell phones, raise your hand, wait for a microphone. There's one on each side. And please state your name and affiliation when asking a question. Thank you. Joined by Purdue head coach Matt Painter and Purdue student athletes Vincent Edwards, who had 21 points, 10 rebounds, Isaac Haas, who had 14 points, and Caleb Swanigan, who had 20 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. As always, an opening statement from Coach, and then questions for the student athletes. Coach, please.
Well, unbelievable game. Iowa State is a great basketball team. I think they showed that in the second half. I thought, at times when Burton was putting the ball on the floor, it was so hard because they have so many shooters that are out there to try to give some help on his drives. But they made some threes and some tough shots that, you don't know what to say to your guys in the huddle. And I think they showed why they're an exceptional basketball team. But, our guys played a really good first half. I thought in the second half we had some good looks that didn't go down. We had some balls at the basket. We had some threes that were good shots that just didn't go down. And but we hung in there, to be able to withstand things after they take the lead. A lot of times when you get up 16, 17 points and someone takes the lead, it's hard to recover. And I thought our guys kept their poise, made some plays, got some key offensive rebounds in that last 3-4 minutes, and made some obviously some key plays. And then it was great to see P.J. Thompson there at the end. Knock down those 2 free throws to seal it after Biggie got that rebound. That was a huge rebound to be able to make that play at that time, to give us a chance to make those next 2 free throws and seal the deal. So just proud of our guys, the way they play. These 3 guys were obviously exceptional.
Thanks, Coach. Questions for the student athletes, please.
Caleb, just generally, what does it mean to you to be moving on to the Sweet 16 now?
I'm excited. I'm ready to get back to campus, and get to work and watch the game tomorrow between Kansas and Michigan State and see who we play.
Oh, that's great. That's all we get.
There's more.
That's beautiful.
This is for any of you guys. What was the message at halftime? Obviously, you knew that they weren't just going to roll over and lay down and walk away. And sure enough, you get the big lead, but they make the big run. You were probably ready for that. What was the tone? What was the message?
I mean, we just try to talk all our mistakes that we had in the first half. Our coaches just kept saying, 0-0. They came in, try to tell us what they saw, and what we can clean up and what we can fix. And I just kept trying to tell the guys, everybody makes runs. It's March, it's madness, it happens, but we just got to be able to withstand it. And I'm proud of this whole team and the coaching staff to be able to, withstand that run and be able to hold on to it. It's unbelievable.
Paul Banks, the sportsbank.net. Vince, I mean, you're a veteran. You've been around. How would you put this one up emotionally with some of the other games in your career? Where does it rank?
You say that made me feel old. I mean, it's just huge because I've never been past the first round. So to be here and to be going into a Sweet 16, it's I can't even describe the words that I'm feeling right now. It's just crazy.
Isaac, for you as well, what does it mean to you to be going to the Sweet 16, and what did you learn about yourself and your teammates that you gave up the big lead but then sustained and were able to overcome?
I think it shows maturity, and like Vince said, we maintained our poise. When we were when they took that lead, and we knew that they had a run in them, and that was it. And then we managed to overcome that, and I'm just really excited to be here. And then now it's just on to the next one.
Anything else for the student athletes?
Vince, what's going through your mind when they're making that run and you're down to the last couple of minutes and you got to make some plays?
I was praying, they got going. And, those guys, hats off to Iowa State. They're a really good team. They were making individual plays there at the end, and some guys got hot. But, I just kept trying to tell myself, stay poised, stay calm. And we were all just talking out, and we just kept telling each other, we got this, and we were able to stick it out and win.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, thanks, guys. Congratulations on advancing to the Sweet 16. Questions for Coach Painter, please.
Matt, is this this game pretty much the definition of survive and advance for you guys?
Yeah, no question about it. And it has, when we went to the Sweet 16 with Etuan Moore and Juwan Johnson and Robbie Hummel, we played Washington. And they had Isaiah Thomas. And they had 3 guys score 20 or more against us. And it's the same thing, we're up 13 at half, and you knew they just were going to make the run. But they did it in the same fashion that Washington did. They just kind of cleared us out and took us. They weren't running offense. They just, making plays. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do as a coach because you feel helpless. You don't feel like you can help them in that regard. Because if you come in and help and stop the basketball, their shooters are so good, they're going to expose you. And if you don't, then they're going to take you off the dribble with Burton. But, we hung in there. And we had to make offensive plays. They were going to score the basketball. So, we had to make offensive plays, and obviously we made just enough.
Coach, how do you rank this team with how well they execute? That really felt like the difference today.
Yeah, I thought we executed and did a good job. I thought we got the ball where we wanted to. In the second half, we had some things not go our way. We had some post moves not go down. We had some open looks, especially that one at the very end. But I thought our guys did a really good job of executing and running our stuff and kind of picking their spots. I thought in the first half they did a really good job of picking their spots, when to push, when to shoot quick. I thought we were a little trigger happy to start the game and how many threes we were taking. But we have good shooters if you look at our percentages, so I don't mind that.
Matt, on the TV broadcast, they were showing the post-game locker room and everybody's going nuts. And then you walked in and you talked with them briefly and said something about for future reference. Can you give us an idea what you said? It was a little hard.
Well, I was just talking about fouling. It's a hard thing to do when you don't want to burn your timeout and, you're up 2 and your free throw shooter makes 1 to go up 3, but if he misses the next one with 7 seconds to go, it's a hard thing to be able to say, hey, if you miss this one, we're going to foul, because that's what we normally do. We do it on a time basis. But I was trying to talk to the other 2 guards that were there, and so that's all I was talking about, just because if we'd have missed that free throw, we were going to foul once he crossed half court.
Coach, Brendan Brody with rushthecourt.net. In the last two years, close losses coming out at the end, do you think your core group, now that they're mostly other than Swanigan juniors,
right,
do you think they built off those past the last 2 years and kind of just handled it much better because they went through that?
Well, I think we've learned a lot. Those games that we've won in the past, they were close games also, and the games you lose, they're normally close games in the tournament too. But you just try to learn from your experiences. I think it sits with them when it's always, a lot of times you don't really sit on things too much, but the things that people remind you of it. But when you lose at the end of the year, you always remember that. You always remember that last loss and how that felt. And so when you lose back-to-back years in overtime, it sits with you. Whether you miss a free throw or miss an assignment or turn the basketball over, as a player, you just want that, that next chance to get yourself in that position again so you can do it and, not go home with that overtime loss.
Yeah, Matt, personally, what is the significance for you to be going back to the Sweet 16, I think, since the first time since 2010?
Yeah, I think that's right. Oh, it's huge. You win first-round games, you lose first-round games. You try to put yourself in position in the matchups, and we were in this position last year to play Iowa State, to hopefully go to the Sweet 16, and we lost. But you just feel for your players. I'm just happy for our players, happy for our fans. We've hung in there. We have a good group of guys, and they're fun to be around. So I'm just happy for those guys.
Jim Delo, WJOB in Hammond. On the inbounds play that went to Dakota Mathias, was he the one you wanted to put the ball in his hands?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Because he's what, like 85 or what?
Yeah, he's around 83, I think.
83.
Yeah,
okay.
83. So.
But it didn't work out though.
No, it didn't. Yeah, he's not 100.
Yeah, yeah, I know. That's.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Anything else for Coach?
I'm good.
One more.
Haas had about 14 points in 9 minutes. How hard was it to not play him late, and what are the thought processes?
He had 14 points in 15 minutes.
Oh, was it? Sorry.
Yeah. It's still pretty good, huh? Yeah. Point a minute. Yeah. It drives you nuts because you want him in the game and you want him to be on the offensive end, and it's so hard sometimes to do it. We're so big. When everybody thinks about that, they always think that's your advantage, and it is your advantage. And he proved it tonight that when he was in there. But when they go super small, see, they didn't put Burton. A lot of our talk at halftime was Burton playing the 5. A lot of it. Those guys kept saying, "Coach, he hadn't played the 5." I said, "It's coming. It's coming. They're going to flip it on us because they can't guard us down there." and they're going to make sure their offensive end is working. They know that, no matter who they put down there, that they're not going to be able to stop our big guys. But they're going to, now they want to expose us on the other end. And so it's really hard. It's, for us, because you want him in the game. He's really played well here and did some good things here today. And so, but, he keeps a positive attitude and keeps playing. And, we're looking forward to, to playing next weekend with him.
Matt, what does it mean to you that Biggie is now getting a chance to show the entire country what he's about and how he's a player of the year candidate?
Yeah, well, I think today, you saw it. He got the huge rebound there at the end, and then PJ gets the ball to PJ and he makes the 2 free throws. But, getting the 7 assists, his decision-making and his passing today were big. Obviously he's put up points and rebounds all year, but I thought he did a really good job of making decisions. But it's great for everybody to see just that, he'd be one of those guys that would be a good player if he was 5'11". Just a very smart player. He's got good instincts. And, he's one of the best players in the country, if not the best.
Do you feel this team has maybe a resolve other teams haven't had, just a poise that you haven't seen in past teams?
Well, we're a skilled team, and so at the end of games this year, even though we missed one at the end there, we've been able to make some key perimeter shots. We've been able to make some key free throws, and I think that kind of resolve and just a little bit of experience of going through it and having some struggles in the past. This year we've actually done pretty well in close games, and I think the more you can win close games, the more confidence you build. We felt terrible about our loss, in the Big Ten tournament. We miss a layup and we miss a free throw, in the last minute 10 of that game. And those are plays that we've made all year. And so I know that's set with a couple of our guys, and, both those guys made plays for us today.
Matt, the Big Ten has taken some criticism this year. Some people have knocked it as not being as good as years past, obviously.
Right.
But with what Wisconsin did today, Michigan State winning last night, what you guys did tonight, what kind of a message maybe does it send about the league?
Well, I think our league is very good. Obviously, we have very good coaches. A lot of times people compare it, and for us as coaches and players, it's hard for us to even talk about it. You guys seem to get a theme, whether that's good or bad, and everybody just runs with that theme. Tell them to go play Michigan. People that don't think our league's any good. Tell them to go play Wisconsin. Wisconsin's not an 8 seed. No way there. I don't understand that. And you don't understand basketball if you put Wisconsin in the 8 seed. Now Villanova's got to play them in the second round. Man, that's crazy. Wisconsin's one of the toughest teams, in the country, period. And sure, they struggle a little bit there at the end, but everybody has something outside of 4 or 5 teams that, where you struggle. So we got a good league. You play Michigan State, you better bring your lunch. I can go right down. I can talk about the teams that didn't make it, that are tough. Iowa this year was an unbelievable out. They beat us. Nebraska beat us. We have a tough league, across the board.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thank you. Joined by Iowa State head coach Steve Prome and Iowa State student athletes Monte Morris, who had 18 points, Matt Thomas, who had 20, and Milwaukee native Deontay Burton, who had 25. We'll have an opening statement from the coach and then questions for the student athletes. Coach, please.
First off, just want to congratulate Purdue and Coach Painter and their team on advancing to the Sweet 16 in today's victory. Good luck to them going forward. Just the biggest thing today on days like this is you're just disappointed it ends. I told the guys in the locker room, the last 6-7 weeks of the season, we were playing as good as anybody in the country. These guys were a ton of fun to be around. We changed as a team. We grew as a team. And the hardest thing to do right now is say goodbye, because you're saying goodbye to the winningest senior class in the history of the school, and they've done amazing things on and off the floor. And so that's the toughest part, that at some point you've got to say goodbye to these guys. And I was hoping I would get to coach them a couple more weeks, but it wasn't in the cards. It wasn't in the plans. And so I wish these guys well, and they know I'll always be there for them.
Thanks, Coach. Questions for the student athletes, please.
Deontay, the missed free throw with 11 seconds left and the long rebound, was that just simply a matter of it was too deep a rebound?
No, I didn't box him out enough. I should have pushed him further out and then try to get the rebound.
Deontay, what about your game tonight? You look like you were a man on a mission, that you were playing for your lives out there and putting the team on your back and doing everything possible to not let the season end tonight.
We were playing for our lives. It was a win or go home game, and I didn't want to go home. So I tried to put everything I could into the game tonight.
Monte, at a time like this, I know it's very difficult, but you've had such a great career. Is there any sort of perspective, or what do you take away from the season and your career?
I just took away from this season that it's going to be ups and downs in life, and sometimes you don't know why. But, and I'm a reference to this season. We had some low times this season where people didn't think or believe we would, be here this far. So going forward, it's just when adversity hits you in life, you just got to persevere and just answer it with, hostility and just be, successful. And that's what this team did. So I take my hat off to every one of my teammates because we stuck together and made it this far. It was a long journey. And I wouldn't change nothing or a group of guys or coaching staff to play with.
And Matt, you're from Onalaska, Wisconsin. To be back in your home state and play as well as you did tonight, I know this is a bitter ending for you, but can you just talk about the emotions of the evening?
It was cool for me, cool for our other three guys from Milwaukee being back home. Down the line, 10, 15 years, be able to, reflect and understand, how special these 4 years was, especially, this 1 year as a senior, and all the accomplishments we did and we accomplished as a team. It's tough right now just to step back and see that, but I love these guys, and I want to go out with a better group.
For anybody, what was the difference from the first 30 minutes to the last 10?
I just think it was our sense of urgency. We're a resilient group. We play with a lot of grit and toughness. For whatever reason, we didn't come out, necessarily ready to go in that first half. But, we had been in that situation before, and that's what we talked about at halftime. And once we got on that run, we made things happen, and we made it interesting. We just were 1 or 2 plays short of capping that one off.
Anything else for the student athletes? Thank you, guys. Questions for Coach, please.
Coach, could you just talk about what Deontay was able to do defensively on Caleb Swanigan tonight?
He just competed the second half. He just competed. He's a tough kid. He's really our best. Solomon's a good post defender, but Deontay's probably our best post defender at times, really majority of the times, just because he's so strong. His lower body's so strong, and he's so athletic, and he can front and be able to still get a deflection or get a steal or kind of sneak around there in the post. And so second half, he was a lot more better and engaged on the defensive end.
Steve, can you speak a little bit to what this senior class has accomplished and I guess what it means for the program, moving forward without him?
Yeah, these seniors have been amazing. I've talked about them a lot. I've been very open about that, about, what they've meant to this program. I asked them, beginning of the year, nobody really knew what this team was going to be like. We lost a lot of really good players from last year's team, and we had some holes and some uncertainty with some new guys coming in. And my challenge to them was leave your jersey in a better place. And then I internally said, hey, we got to get back to the NCAA tournament. Hopefully we can win a championship. And then hopefully we can get back to another Sweet 16 and see what happens. This senior class has went to 4 straight NCAA tournaments. Only 10 programs in the country have been to 6 straight or more. They've won 20 or more games every season. I think only like 13 BCS level schools have done that, 6 straight years. 3 Big 12 tournament titles. And then you're saying goodbye to 2 of the best 3-point shooters to ever come through here. And then, with all respect to Jamal Tinsley and Hornacek, probably the best point guard ever come through this school. And they did it the right way, and they represented the program the right way. And everything you heard about them was the good. They weren't ever in the news for anything else but how they represented this program on and off the floor. And so I think this is just a special program where you have to continue to recruit guys that can do that. If you're going to play at Iowa State and at certain other programs in the country, you got to be a great player. You got to have great character and great toughness, but you got to be able to impact people. You got to be able to interact with the community, interact with the alumni, be ready to take pictures, shake hands, because that's part of it with the fan base and the passion that these people have. And those guys embraced it. And that's the toughest thing about ending is, I love Monte Morris, I love Naz Long, I love Matt Thomas, love Deontay, and then Merle, Darryl, Stu. It's just tough to say goodbye to those guys because those shoes are going to be extremely hard to fill. But everywhere I've been, the next guy comes along. And that's my staff's job to do, is to continue to recruit the next guy. And I told him in the locker room over the last couple of weeks, I've heard from Niang, I've heard from Ejim, from Melvin, I've heard from Fred, I've heard from Pfizer, Jamal Tinsley the other day. And that's when you know you're at a real program, where the alumni and the former players are following everything you do. And you can't let those guys down. And these seniors didn't.
Coach, Chris Goff with the Journal-Gazette. Were you impressed by the way that Purdue was able to weather the storm when you guys came back and took the lead? As many fans as you brought out here to Milwaukee, that Purdue, in kind of a road environment for them, was able to restabilize themselves and retake control?
We got the lead 73-71, I think, with Deontay's free throws. And I'll have to look at the tape to see how Thompson got the open 3. But that thing went all the way around, hit the backboard, and then back in to go up 1. And I can't remember what we did on the offensive end. They came back. They've got some size, and went up 3. And then I think that's when I called timeout. And that was probably, I should have let those guys play in space again, because I think that's what we did in the second half. We just said, hey, we just got to spread you out. It's kind of how we used to play earlier in the season. We just were 5 out and looking to drive them. And I think we just kind of caught up in a pick and roll situation, and ended up turning it over. And then, but we still had a chance. We didn't rebound that ball at the end. But a game like this, you can look back at a lot of different things.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you.
Thanks.